Good day everyone. So in today's video, we will discuss another topic which is the Philippine pop culture and experience economy with my members, Juan Ocora, Marvin Arienza, and yours truly, Journaline Alceso. So, A. Affect, Senses, and Feelings by Juni Din. The language of victimization in the face of vloggers inflicting their boring lives, their obsessed lives, their sex lives, their pet lives on the race of us differs from the criticism of rabid political bloggers or snarky celebrity bloggers, all working round the clock to attack their specific targets and generally amplify an intensity that circuits of communicative capitalism. The anxiety about victimization controls blogging per as an activity that victimizes and harms regardless of any particular content. The practice of blogging itself is harmful. Harm is an embedded feature of the application like a link or a tag. Blogging is a fact of this world that one cannot escape. The claim that blogging is harmful, that the rest of us are its victims, points to a link between blogging and anxiety. So, B. Body by Balsi Nerissa, The Filipinas Breast, Savagery, Docility, and the Erotics of American Empire. Savage brace were signs of conquest from accounts of European explorers such as Columbus and Magellan, to 19th century maps of the Pacific drawn by the American cartographers, to American postcards featuring Native American women. The bare brown bosom of indigenous women were markers of savagery, colonial desire, and a justification for Western imperial rule. Imperial cultures deployed barbarism and Philippine nudity to justify imperial violence and articulate colonial phantasm about the savage land. Columbus, who fetishized the colonial breasts of native women, was convinced that the world was not round but pear-shaped, and the top by a protuberance much like women's nipple. The imperial impulse to convert these exiles of Christianity, coupled with travelers' tales of wealth and gold in uncharted, exotic lands, would foil Europeans' imperial fantasies for centuries.
C. Musica Space, Tadyar ni Forte. Taking an innovative, post-colonial, feminist perspective on transformation in the Philippine nation in the context of globalization. Fantasy production provides a theoretical framework for understanding the nationalist and post-colonial capitalist logic shaping the actions of the Philippines as a nation-state. Trader proves that consequences of dominant Philippine imaginations by examining a broad range of phenomena which characterize the contemporary Philippine nation, including the mass migration overseas of domestic workers, the prostitution economy, urban restructuring, the popular revolt toppling the Marcoses dictatorship, as well as various works of art, poetry, historiography, and film. This will be one of the first books available widely in English that provides a sustained theoretical engagement with the cultural dimensions of contemporary, socio-political, and economic developments in the Philippines. D. Time. Jonathan Crary. Late Capitalism and the Ends of Sleep is a short, sharp polemic against the dehumanizing and conditions of neoliberalism, the non-stop marketplace, and the concomitant demands for constant productivity and attentiveness. Crary adds an analysis of the shifts in attention brought about in the mid-20th century, particularly relating to post-war consumption and television, while mainly focusing on the period from 1990 to the present. Crary begins and ends 24/7 by arguing that sleep in our last refuge from the affront of neoliberalism and its morass of stimulated needs. Sleep is an uncompromising interruption of the theft of time from us by capitalism.
Technology, Rafael Vicente, The Cell Phone and the Crowd, Messianic Politics in the Contemporary Philippines. It explores the roles of the cell phones and the practice of texting within the content of the civilian-backed coup that overthrew President Joseph Estrada in January of 2001, popularly known as People Power 2. It focuses in particular on a set of political fantasies among the Filipino middle class, including their belief in the power of communication. Communication from this perspective held the messianic promise of refashioning the heterogeneous crowd into a people addressing and addressed by the promise of justice. The masses called attention to the fragility of Borgo's claims that the shape, the sending, and the reception of messages about the proper practice of politics in the nation state. Globalization, Benevido Lombera. Globalization is the word used to describe the growing interdependence of the world's economies, cultures, and populations, brought about by cross-border trade in goods and services, technology, and flows of investment, people, and information.